Welcome to my art studio. My name is Lizi. Today I'm going to show you an art project. It's called Night Walk. This project was inspired by a book. It's called Flashlight. Let's take a look at this book.
Have you wondered why we don't see colors in the dark? There are two types of cells in the back of our eyes, rods and cones. Cones see in color, but rods don't. Therefore, when you are in the dark, you only see with your rods. You can make out shapes that your cones would never pick up, but you lose the capacity to see color. When you bring in a flashlight, it activates your cones and you see colors again.
Although this project shows a little boy walking in the woods carrying a pumpkin pail, and he had his costume on, but I want you to understand that you can create anything you want. It doesn't have to be Halloween related. It can be just a short hiking trip at night, or what you saw in the campground when you are away from the campfire. Pick your theme and decide who is out there walking. Is it a girl or a boy? And what did he or she see? Is it something that you've never seen before? Is there any sound made from those animals that is usually invisible during the day, but somehow all emerge at night, especially when you have a flashlight?
Now for some tips. Pause the video as you need to. We'll be showing you how to draw this scene, but feel free to vary it as you wish. The video will show you how to draw this character. A tip to help you get started is to find the middle of your page and use that for the top of his hat. Remember to make it big enough so you can add some details like eyes and a mouth. But if it's higher or lower or to the side, that'll work too. Now welcome to the trick-or-treat scene, step by step.
Hi everyone, welcome to our trick-or-treat paper artwork. Today we're going to start off using a black piece of paper, a white, black, dark brown, light brown, orange, and actually green color pencil with scissors and a piece of white paper. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to draw is our main character. I'm going to draw a little boy in the middle of my paper, and I'm going to work from top to bottom. So I have a hat shape with an ear, the little bill of the hat or the hair, some little curly lines where his hair is sticking out. Follow the line from the hat, and that's going to be the side of the face. You can add little eyes here, and a little curve for a nose, and a happy little mouth. After that, we're going to start on the body. I'm going to start with the arm that's sticking out holding the flashlight. So I'm actually going to draw the flashlight first, and then I can add the fingers around it roughly. From there, we're going to draw the belly, which is a curved line in, and then the back, which is a little bit more of a straight line. I'm going to draw the arm that goes down almost all the way to the bottom with a hand. Then we're going to do a handle with a trick-or-treat pumpkin pail. Underneath that, that's where the legs stick out. I'm going to have him kind of walking, so his other foot is sticking out a little bit in front. Now from here, we're going to add some details. I decided to do my kid in a skeleton costume, so I'm just adding bones along the line of where his bones would actually be, and just doing little rectangles with little hearts at the end for the arms. And the rib cage is just some kind of curved, straight kind of lines that are rounded. And then you have the hip bone. And then you want to have the leg bones, and make sure you have a knee in there, which is a little circle. And then you can also do some ribs on the back. Then you'll go ahead and fill in your pumpkin pail face however you want. Keep in mind too, you can also do a different kind of costume if you want, or a different kind of character. It's all up to you here. Now, moving on to the background, we are going to draw some trees. Now, I decided to do the trees from The Nightmare Before Christmas that have all of the holiday doors on them. I don't want them to be perfectly centered because I don't want our character to be surrounded by a tree or engulfed in the tree. The trees that are closer to us are going to be bigger, so you're going to make the lines a little wider apart, and they're going to come down a little bit further on your page than the ones in the background. Then from there, I'm going to do a horizon line in the background that go behind the trees, and then I can just add some smaller trees behind them like a forest. And when you're doing trees, make sure that all of your branches come up like a Y shape. And you don't want everything to look the same, because if it looks the same, then it creates a pattern and it looks repetitive, and that's not how it is in nature. So you can just draw some trees in here really quickly before we move on to the next step. You can also make some of these lines, fill them in a little bit more, make them a little bit thicker. And some of them can be a little bit thinner. The ones that go below your horizon line, those are the ones that are going to be thicker. And then I have a couple that start on top of the horizon line, or start from the horizon line, and those you just want to use the width of your pencil, so just make the lines. You don't have to make them thicker at all. Now from here we're gonna do the doors. If you can remember in Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington goes to the forest and finds the holiday doors. So I'm doing a heart for Valentine's Day, a Christmas tree for Christmas, has a little bit of decoration here. I'm actually going to thicken in these lines for our main trees so that they push forward a little bit more and they stand out from the background. Now I'm going to practice drawing in my pumpkin, even though it's going to change because the flashlight's going to be on it. In a later step, we're going to glue a piece of white paper over it. But this is good practice to make sure everything fits the way that I want it to fit. Practice our scary little pumpkin here. Now for the next step, we're going to grab our white sheet of paper and our scissors. And I'm going to start from the corner and I'm going to create a triangle shape. And I'm going to see how it fits with my flashlight. Kind of adjust so it's pointing straight. Snipped off the edge here so that it can point correctly. And now I know where I'm going to glue it. Now when you glue, you don't need a lot of glue to make it stick. I would say mostly around the edges and a little bit on the inside, but keep it as thin as possible. So line it up and you can stick it down so it covers your pumpkin, and then flip it over and you can trim off the edge. So once you're done, flip it back over. Make sure all of your white part is pressed down nicely. And then we're gonna add the details back onto our Halloween tree. So with a black colored pencil, we're going to draw in the outlines of the tree. Make them a little thick. You want it to match the thickness of the white line that you drew on your black paper. Make sure you add in the horizon line where it applies, and all of the background trees you can add back in. And then we're going to add our pumpkin back with a stem and our eyes and our nose and the mouth. You can do a different kind of pumpkin face too if you want. I'm copying the one from Nightmare Before Christmas. And make sure you color those in with the black as well. Then you'll go ahead and fill in the pumpkin with the orange and green for the stem. And then you're going to go ahead and color in the tree trunk with your brown. Now I'm starting with the light brown first, and I'm going to add a gradation with the dark brown. So because the light is shining on the left side, I'm doing the left side of your tree with the light brown, and then I'm going to lightly go overlap the light brown with the dark brown, and as it moves to the right side of the tree, I'm going to make it a little bit darker. So there's a couple ways you can do that. You can either press a little bit harder with your pencil, or you can just build up on top of it. And the way that you do that is you keep going over it lightly until the pencil builds up, and it'll get darker. Now I'm going to go back in with the black, and I'm going to add some texture on the tree, so just some lines. You want to make sure that they're random and they're not perfectly straight. You don't want them all to be the same length and in the same places, because you don't want it to look like a pattern. You can go in and kind of darken things a little bit, add some lines on your pumpkin because there's texture on that too from the tree. And there you have it. If you want to add any more details, you're more than welcome to. You can add some white lines on the other trees to add texture or anything like that, but make sure you keep the colored part inside the white paper. And then you're done.